What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Sam. I post all things faith, travel vlogs, lifestyle vlogs. This is kind of just a video diary of my life on this channel whenever I feel up to posting. And so I'm really excited to be sitting down with you today. We're gonna do something a little bit different. No podcast, no vlog. We're just gonna sit and chat. And I'm gonna tell you guys all about my trip to Jamaica. I wanted to make this video like 2 weeks ago, but life is lifing and I have not had time to sit down and film this, but I'm so excited to be doing so today. I'm just gonna give you a step-by-step, day-by-day recap of the whole trip, and I will have videos and pictures for you throughout this whole video as well, just so you can kind of feel like you're there as well. It's cold outside, it's December. If you want to escape to Jamaica for the next 15 or so minutes, then let's do it. Before we get into all of that though, I do want to remind you that my Instagram and my TikTok are all linked down below, as well as my main YouTube channel. I am very active on TikTok. I've been trying to be more active on Instagram and Instagram Reels, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. And so if you'd like to interact with me, shoot me a DM, or just kind of keep track of things like my trips, like Jamaica, I was posting things while I was away, then all of that will be linked down below, and I'll probably put it on the screen as well at some point in this video so that we can connect and like be actual friends, you know? Okay, so let's get into it. So I went to Jamaica for about 3.5 days. I went from November 22nd to November 25th. And I went with my best friend Marissa. If you follow me on TikTok or if you've just been with me for a while, I have talked about her many times. I always joke that people probably think I'm obsessed with her because she just comes up in conversation a lot. And so we both needed a mental reset trip, a trip where we could just turn our minds off and not think about work, not think about anything going on, just sit, enjoy by the pool with a cocktail in our hand and not have to really think about anything too crazy. And that is exactly what the trip was. So we flew into Montego Bay and we stayed at the Rio Montego Bay. Now, nothing is sponsored in this video, but imagine if it was, that would be really cool. Nothing is sponsored. I'm just gonna give you some advice and tips and things that I wish I knew if you were planning on going on a similar trip. So Rio Montego Bay is a all-inclusive resort. It was my first one ever, and it feels so weird because you go out to eat or you go to the bar to get a drink and you're like, what do you mean I don't have to pay? Because you already paid your fee. So it just feels so unnatural, but so worth it. I highly, highly recommend. The resort was fantastic. We were able to check in as soon as we got there. I think we landed at noon and we got to the hotel maybe like 1:30, and normally you have to wait until like 3, 4 o'clock. We got there, they were like, your room is ready. We'll bring your luggage up to the room for you if you want, and you can start enjoying. And it was fantastic. We got out of the airport, and right by the airport door there was a booth with Jamaican patties, and I think they were margaritas, flavored margaritas or something like that. And we were just like, okay, I guess vacation's starting now. So from beginning to end, you are entertained. From beginning to end, there are people that want to serve you and just make sure that it is the best trip possible. We booked transportation to take us from the airport to the resort. It was like an 8-minute drive, super easy. And we got there, like I said, checked in, and right away we met with people that worked for the travel agency, and they show you a list of excursions that you can do. You don't have to do them, but we did one of them. And so they sit with you, they tell you the information, this is what we have to offer, these are the prices, and then we kind of converse with each other and we made our decision. We booked one for the very next day so that the rest of the trip we could kind of just chill. So once we did that, that did take a little bit of time. So about maybe almost an hour later, we were able to go up to our room and check in. We had a nice little balcony, cute little room. It was just us two. We didn't need much. We unpacked right away, and then we were so eager to get into the pool. We had been up for so many hours at that point, big travel day, and we just wanted to go enjoy. So the resort has, I think, 3 pools and beach access. One pool has a swim up bar that they call the Roots. That's where the music is played. That's where people do like kind of the heavy drinking. One half of the bar is in the pool. The other half is on land. That's the main pool. Then there's another pool with a volleyball court, and that's where like the sports happen. And then there's another pool I called the adult pool. Even the whole resort was adults only, but I called this one the adult pool because There wasn't really loud music, like it was just chill. There were lounge chairs built into the pool so that you could lay in the water. That was the adult pool. And so the adult pool is where we chose to go. I think we were both kind of tired and overstimulated, so we went into the bar, got a drink, and then went into the lounge pool for maybe just like an hour or so. Unfortunately, we did go during a season where it rains quite a bit over there. But, you know, it rains for an hour or two and then it stops and the sun comes out and the rain starts again. And so at this point, it was probably like 4 o'clock or so. So the sun was already not at its strongest and it was kind of cloudy. So it wasn't super warm. We got no tan the whole trip, clearly, but that's okay. So we were in the pool for maybe just an hour or so, had a drink, walked around the resort a little bit. The beach was so cool. There's so many things to do. You can take one of those paddle boats, you can take a kayak, you can go paddle boarding, and most of it is included in the fee for the resort, which is really cool. You just have to go sign a little waiver and then go do your thing and bring it back. Only a select few things you actually had to pay extra for. So once we explored, we were like, okay, now let's start getting ready for dinner. We wanted to wash the hair wash day, style it. The girls know that takes a little bit. So we went upstairs. On the way upstairs, there was a 24-hour sports bar that had snacks, it had a bar, it had Jamaican patties, half sandwiches that are pre-made. We got those a lot, those came in handy. They had hot dogs, nachos, a pool table, TVs, and that was open 24 hours. That was actually directly under our room, which was convenient because of how close it was, but at night it was very loud. And so that was the one thing I would say about our room, is that it was really loud because you heard everything that was happening in the sports bar, but minor details. So on the way up, we went to the sports bar, got another drink. I think we were drinking whiskey sours at this point, and then went up to the room, got ready. That night they were doing a neon party. So the resort every night does something fun in this little, I'm gonna call it like a ballroom for lack of a better word, but it's not a ballroom. There's a stage and there's a big floor and they put on shows. And so that night they were having a neon party. And so they had a DJ, they had dancers that worked for the resort because we saw them every night. Everyone dressed up in neon. Luckily I had a yellow dress, so it worked out perfectly. They gave out balloons and glow necklaces and bracelets, and it was just one big dance party, and it was really, really fun. They brought one of those robots that lights up and just kind of stands in the crowd. It's like 8 feet tall. It was really cool. So we stayed there for maybe like an hour and a half. I think we made it to like 11:30, and then we both kind of looked at each other and we do this thing where we're like, I'm ready to go when you're ready. And she looked at me and she was like, I'm ready to go when you're ready. And then we were like, all right, we called it a night. It was a really long day. It was a long travel day, but it was so much fun. We got to take really good pictures the first night and it was amazing. The second day was the day of the excursion, and so we picked this bamboo raft tour that came with a limestone foot and leg massage, which was really nice. Marissa had done it already and she completely recommended it and said she wanted to even do it again. So if she was willing to do it again, I knew it would be good. So we only booked one excursion because we didn't want the whole day to be taken up, because the guy that was trying to sell us the excursion was like, oh, I can do 3 for you in one day and give you a deal. And we were like, you have to be smart sometimes and you don't want to be taken advantage of. So we only did the one excursion, and thank goodness, because that one excursion, they picked us up at I think 8 or 8:30 in the morning, and we didn't get back until like 3 or something like that. It was a long day. So what happens is they pick you up in a van. It was like a 45 minute drive to this headquarters that the excursion team has. So you go there, you check in, and then the different excursions leave from there. So we were there for probably like an hour while we waited for our excursion to be called. But it was cool. They had like swings that went over the water. They had horses, because one of the excursions was like a horse ride in the ocean, which I have done and it's very fun. And then there was a bar as well. And so we both got a rum punch. The locals there are so friendly. The men are very flirty, but it was funny because they're all the much older gentlemen. And one of them made us a rum punch, and I think that whole trip, that was the only time we had like actual authentic rum. It was like their stuff, and whoo, let me tell you, we had one. Yeah, that is no joke. That is no joke. So we kind of sat, it started raining. It rained that day. It rained before our excursion. It rained on the way to the raft. When we got on the raft, sun was shining, and then on the way back to the resort it rained. So it actually worked out perfectly in our favor. We actually saw some sun that day. And so finally our group was called, they picked us up, and it was another 20-minute or so ride to where the rafts take off. And so we get there, they give you a little life vest kind of thing, which you don't really have to wear, you just wear it to get onto the raft. And then basically you pay for the trip, the raft, which is 45-minute ride. But that also includes the massage, which you're stationary for. So I would say we probably coasted for like 15-20 minutes, and then the rest of it was the massage. Our driver's name was Norman. He was wonderful. He was very respectful, but you could tell he knew what he was doing. He would take our camera, the camera that I'm filming on right now, he was taking pictures with it, and I was like, Norman, it's that button on top. And he was like, I know, trust me, I know what I'm doing. And he was telling us like how to pose on the raft. It was so fun. You also get a bottle of champagne on your raft as well. Every raft is a 2-person raft, and everybody gets a bottle of champagne. So that was a really nice touch. And then he takes limestone, which is a white stone that grows, I guess, in that body of water, in that river, or whatever you would call it. And he massages your feet and your legs, and he wrote "One Love" on our legs because, you know, in Jamaica, and a little handprint as well. He was respectful, but it was really cool. It was really fun. So we went one at a time. I went first, then Marissa went, and then as that's drying on you, that's when you coast on the raft and kind of do your thing. And then he stops halfway to rinse off our legs and then takes us back. So he was wonderful. He was trying to sell us the limestone, which this is really funny because he was like, wow, feel how soft your legs are. And he's spraying this like little spray, this yellow spray on our legs. And I'm like, oh, what is that? And he's like, oh, it's olive oil and baby oil. And I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, Norman, no wonder our legs are so soft. It's not the limestone, it's the oil. I could do that at home. So I didn't buy the limestone, but I respect what he was doing. I respect the business. I respect the process. So on our way back to the resort, like I said, completely rained. We were drained because we had woken up early. We had had the rum, even though we only had one drink, but it was a lot. I don't even think we finished the champagne. So by the time we got to the resort, we were both like, yeah, but we could nap. And it was raining, so it's not like we could really swim much anyway. So we took a little bit of a nap and then started getting ready for dinner. So there are 3 restaurants on this resort, I believe. There are 4 technically. There is a steakhouse, an Italian restaurant, a Asian restaurant, and then the main buffet that is free to everyone and or open to everyone. The other restaurants you have to make reservations for, and I think because we got there on a Friday, the whole weekend was completely booked for all of the restaurants, so we didn't really get to go to any of them. The Asian one, you didn't need reservations. It was first come, first serve. But when we got there, we went this night, the second night, and we had to wait like 20 minutes. It really wasn't that bad. The food wasn't great, but I mean, everyone kind of knows that all-inclusive resort food is not going to be the best. We didn't get to go to any of the restaurants. The food would have been really, really good, but the Asian buffet, not great. The main buffet, not great. But the breakfast at the main buffet, fantastic. They'll bring you a mimosa, hash browns, eggs. I mean, it's kind of hard to mess that up. French toast, that was really good. So breakfast was the best part. We stuffed ourselves every morning on breakfast. And so yeah, like I said, the second night we went to the Asian place, and then we went to the main buffet for dessert because the dessert at the Asian place was kind of like lackluster. So we kind of went from one buffet to the other, but hey, it's vacation, that's what you do. And then afterwards we went back to the ballroom, and that night the event was a cultural experience. So those same dancers from the night before put on a whole show for us with, you know, their music and their kind of dance moves. And I remember they said, the MC said, you know, we make no apologies for the kind of dancing that you're gonna see today. Like, this is us. This is how we act even like outside of here. And the way those people can move, the men and women, oh my goodness, my body could never. It was amazing. And so it was so fun. So we got a drink. We ended up sitting, we caught like, I would say like the second half of the show. And then the club opened, the resort's club, I forget what it's called. Marissa and I poked our heads in there for literally 7 seconds, and we just kind of weren't feeling it. We also are not heavy drinkers, either of us, so what we did instead was we went and played cornhole in the lobby for like 20 minutes, and then they had a giant Connect 4 in the lobby as well, and we played that for almost an hour, just over and over and over again. Yeah, that's what it's like going on vacation with us, and that's why we vacation so well together. And so like I said, this whole resort from beginning to end, no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing, no matter what time of day it is, there is something for you to do. You are entertained. And that's what we did until about midnight that night, and then we looked at each other and we said, okay, I think it's time to go to bed. And then the last day was so fun. This was the day that we were really looking forward to, of just being at the resort all day long and just kind of not having an itinerary, just kind of going with the flow. And that we did, although this day rained quite a bit. We went to breakfast, and then we were like, oh, the sun is out, let's go to the pool. We went to the pool, went to the swim up bar. We got about 30 minutes of sun, and then a dark cloud passed by, and Marissa was like, oh, that's a really dark cloud. And I was like, no, it's gonna be fine. Well, about 30 minutes later, it downpoured, and it pretty much poured all day long. And so we stayed in the swim up bar because it's covered, and we didn't really want to leave because if we left, we would have gotten drenched, even though we were in the pool already, but you know what I mean. So we ended up just kind of staying there. We made friends they're from a similar place that we live in. So that was really fun. It's kind of just like you just end up finding each other. So we made friends, hung out in the pool, had some drinks. I will take a second to rave over the workers at these resorts. They work so hard. I would bet all my money that they are underpaid, and they are just there with a smile on their face, and they want to just treat you and take care of you. They try to learn your names. One in particular, I'll shout out Gavrick. I've posted him on my Instagram. He hung out with us a lot that day. He was entertaining us. He was dancing for us. And they're just wonderful. And a lot of them are so young. He was like a 23-year-old kid, and he was working so hard and just doing his thing. And so we made sure to let him know that we appreciated him and that we enjoyed him. He even made a TikTok with us. It's probably never gonna get posted, and he probably had no idea what we were doing, but it was so much fun. And so that's kind of what we did. The rest of the day was really chill, and then the next day we had to leave. We had to check out by 12, but they picked us up at like 11:30 to go to the airport. I definitely recommend booking transportation to and from the airport. It's like, it's a non-negotiable, unless you'd have to pay a taxi, and that's too complicated, and you never know what's a legit taxi and what's not. And so I would just book through the resort. That would be my advice to you. So we got one last breakfast in, stuffed our face, and we actually had more time to explore the resort. We didn't go in the pool or anything, but we walked around the resort. They have like a water park in the back of the resort. We walked to the beach. And it was really cool. They had these boats that come up, and they're like private sellers. They come and they sell jewelry and statues and whatever, but because they're in the water and not on resort property, they can kind of do that. And so Marissa and I bought matching bracelets, which was really cute. We'll probably never really wear them, but it's just to kind of remember the trip, and it was really sweet. And then took some more pictures, and then we were off to the airport to come home. So it was a really quick trip. I think we could have benefited from one more day. I also think we could have benefited from better weather, but you can't really control that. And it was just such a fun day and such a fun vacation. So I'm really glad we did it. If you can get yourself over to Jamaica, it is beautiful there. The water is beautiful, the weather is beautiful, and the people are beautiful, and I want to go back. I would probably go to a different resort or try something new, but 10 out of 10 experience, and I could not recommend it enough. So anyway, a little bit of a different video for this channel, but I hope you guys enjoyed this little recap, and hopefully you felt like you were able to escape to Jamaica for a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.